Hello there, world of YouTube. This is me, SwimmstaGal, coming to you guys with a slightly different style of video. Usually for my plan with me videos, you guys see me drawing it out, you know, sketching it, putting in all the final details. But for this month, I decided to do more of a talk through of my setup as opposed to actually, you know, doing a plan with me video. So for the month of August, as you guys can see here, I went for the Toradora as my theme. I really fell in love with that anime recently, so I was like, why not? Here are the two main characters, the one we know as Taiga and Ryuji. This is actually the first and as of right now the only month that has color on the cover page. I don't know, I just really liked the way on the theme and the thumbnails and stuff like that they have for the anime itself is. It's like, you know, like the 5 circles that are like close or relatively this color scheme, so I just decided to go along with it, and it really happy, really nice pop of color, definitely a nice change to my current routine as of recently, especially in comparison to my other months. As you guys can see, I've kind of maintaining the minimal aspect of it, where again you'll see here it's the same theme across with the circles. It's also done over here for the monthly overview. Usually I'll do a 2-page spread for my memories, but I believe this month and the previous month I did a 1-page just because I don't add as many pictures as I usually think I'm gonna add. One thing I've been liking is doing, I would assume this is called like a Calendex style calendar tracker, quote unquote, so it's not like the traditional squares or things I have been doing. Usually I do like the really big calendar just because that's something I like to do, but I haven't really been using it, and I've actually been using this style a little bit more. I use it just to track my uploads to any social media, so if I put anything on, you know, not Twitter, I meant on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, I'll put what I put here or what I posted. The breakdown usually changes, but for the most part I tend to keep the same thing, so which is important dates, so like birthdays, appointments that can't be missed, work related things, what I'm listening to, so that can be podcasts, which is something I've just recently gotten into, you know, new artist or particular album that I really like that month, what I'm reading. I made this section a lot smaller just because I don't really read as much as I would like to, and I tend to want to put traditional books here because I do read a lot of manhwas. For those of you guys that are familiar with that, it's just basically kind of like manga, but I believe it's the Korean version of it, if I'm not mistaken. Please, hopefully I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I read manhwas, and then I have a running to-do list, which is just basically things I need to finish within the month, and then I just kind of cross them off. So instead of doing them like, you know, scheduling them day by day, I just schedule them for the month, and I make sure I get through them, or at least attempt to through the month. And then again we continue the same theme here with the time log. The time log is actually something I've genuinely really enjoyed filling out. It kind of puts a lot of what I do time-wise into perspective, because I do have a lot of what I would call wasted time in my days, which is something that I'm kind of working towards combating. So this kind of helps me keep a little bit more on track of where I'm allocating my hours for the day. As you guys can see over here, I'm actually pretty good about filling it out, because the two number one things I like to track the most are my work, which would be the green in this case, and my sleep. So yeah, I think I've done pretty good, you know, keeping track of my time. Habit tracker, you know, I'm really good about filling that in. So I am also pretty good at filling in the mood tracker every now and then. You know, I'll like skip a couple of days. See, like right here we have a 2-page spread, but for the most part I love filling in the time tracker the most, especially recently when I've been using acrylic paint pens to fill them in, just because it makes it really bold, and like you know, every segment of what you're doing kind of stands out. But let's return back to the spread. Again, for the mood tracker, I have 2 little spaces here, so usually what I'll do is like day and night, or you know, or just like the whole day if it was the same, you know, kind of like a consistent mood throughout. Here I did change up the font just because I was gonna have to make different colored circles for this area, and then I was kind of like, at that point I was a little lazy because, you know, I have to wait for all this acrylic, because this is acrylic paint that I use for these, to dry. So I just decided to write it in and then do something like you know, do little tiny circles as you guys can see here, and then fill it in with even smaller letters. But the color choice I went with here kind of made it, like, you know, gave it a little bit of a Halloween vibe. Don't totally hate it, and not as in love with it as I am with this, so I'm kind of regretting not having gone the route of just continuing the theme throughout. But, you know, live and learn. I could always just kind of like, you know, what is it, cut a piece of this off from the back and then just glue it in there and fix it. But honestly, you know, it's not about being perfect, it's just necessarily about the page getting the job done, and this one does. As you guys can see, I think it's been like the last 3 months where I've kind of cut the habit tracker in half, so you have like the first half of the month and the second half of the month. I kind of like that because I'm not sure if it's something similar that happens to you guys, but when I have like the whole month and I see a lot of blank spots, I'm just like, I'm like, you know, like the perfectionist in me wants to fill up everything every single day, but I just know the realist in me knows that it's not like a necessity to fill them out all day. These are just kind of like things I want to like improve on or be more consistent with. So as long as I'm like, you know, getting them at least every other day, like I'm good with that. That's something I've had to learn, but I'm good with that, or so I tell myself, right? But yeah, I like to do the split up of the what is it, of the month, just because then I know, hey, was I really on track this half of the month, or hey, this half of the month I seem to be like, you know, filling in more of the squares. Why is that? And then I like putting it right next to my time log because it sees, you know, it allows me to see how I allocate my time. I know usually when I film these, you guys don't see what I get is referred to after the pen, which is where I actually put in what habits I track and what little icons I use for the time log. But usually on the time log, the most important things I do and I, you know, take into account are sleep, work. I put like journaling, well, writing in general. Here is reading a book. This is I did a little tongue for the language. Camera for filming, little scissors for, you know, editing, and then a little arrow pointing up for uploads. And then on the side right here, I just did, like I explained earlier, just my mood tracker. For the art on this page, I just went with, I just went with two of the other characters. She is Taiga's best friend and Ryuji's initial crush. She's one of the characters that enters a little bit more like mid-season. She's actually his childhood friend. Sorry that I'm not using names, that are just kind of escaping me right now, but yeah, that's his childhood best friend who gets introduced to both of them, and then they end up all going to the same school together, you know. And that's kind of how, like, the general gist of how the anime plays out is just them playing matchmakers for each other, and then, you know, stuff happens along the way. And I don't know, I just genuinely enjoyed it. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away too much either, like spoiler alert. But yeah, I did really simple art, and overall I really do enjoy how this came out. I hope you guys liked this different style of video. If you did, let me know, and I'll be glad to repeat this again for the month of September. If it's not something that you particularly like, go ahead and leave it in the comment, and I'll go back to actually drawing out the pages for the upcoming month. Look down below for a potential sneak of what the theme is going to be for September, because I already have it chosen. So what is it going to be? We're going to find out together. But just kidding, I already know. You guys will find out a little bit later, but you know, that's beside the point. But other than that, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. I am incredibly grateful. Don't forget to comment and like. Subscribe if you're wanting to watch more of my videos. Don't forget to hit the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I do upload. As of right now, it's usually once a month, but I'm gonna try to move into uploading anywhere from 2 to 4 times a month. I do have some video ideas. I've been really bad about, you know, my timing, which is why I'm getting a little bit more serious about the time log. But before I continue on rambling, stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.